Tech Table. Tech Table. Tech Table.
Hello and welcome to the Tech Table, the Technical Staff and Theatre Workers podcast. It's the podcast in which I talk to people who work in the technical side of the entertainment industry about how they got in, their experiences and any advice they can give to anyone getting in. This is episode 3 of season 6. What a great season we've had so far. Really enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it too. If you want to get in touch, we are techtablepod@gmail.com on the email. If you want to follow us on the socials, it's Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads and YouTube are all Tech Table Pod. Give us a follow, give us a shout on the email, send us a message, and tell your friends, tell your family, tell anyone you know who's interested in the technical side of the entertainment industry and anyone who's not, because it might make them interested. Thank you so much for the continued downloads. It's been brilliant. The numbers are fantastic. Let's keep it going. Let's get it higher. Let's make it better. Let's get the word out and tell everybody what a great show this is. And speaking of which, without further ado, let's get on to our next guest. I'm with my guest at this time. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell what your current job title is.
Cool. Hello, my name is Nathan Friend. I'm a freelance stage manager.
Excellent. And how did you get into theatre?
So I got into theatre through my drama teacher. And my drama teacher is quite a unique one because they trained as a stage manager. They trained at Bristol Old Vic. They were a camera operator at ITV. But they didn't come from an acting background, like most drama teachers, from my experience, tend to do. So the main way that I got into theatre was they did a lesson on stage management, which isn't part of the curriculum, but they were like, we want to educate you about the other backstage disciplines other than what we assess you on. And that was kind of when I got hooked into it, like kind of realised this is something I actually really want to do. Yeah. And it kind of started from there, really. I went to do my local youth theatre. They were running technical workshops over the summer, and got involved with productions, and then kind of not spiraled, but kind of snowballed from there.
Excellent. So did you train?
Yeah, so I trained at Royal Central School of Speech and Drama.
Lovely.
I did stage management and technical theatre there, 3-year course.
Excellent. So what was your first job?
My first
paid job.
First paid job. It was at the end of my first year of uni, and I was a venue tech for a small fringe theatre venue up in Edinburgh with Assembly Festival.
Right.
And it was 2022, and it was quite a unique situation, and I think that's kind of how I got into it, because they were coming out of the pandemic. In 2021, they'd run a very, very reduced programme to try and have something there for Edinburgh in lieu of a full fringe. And they were coming back with a near full programme, and they had put out job applications. And I was like, I'll apply to this. I probably won't get in, but it'll give me some experience with writing job applications and all of that. And amazingly, I got an email from the head of technical there being like, hey, we want to have an interview with you. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there during my first, a break during my first drama school production that I'm on as an ASM. Having an interview to be a venue technician or a technical stage manager. They kind of use the terms interchangeably. And it was really, really interesting experience to just kind of get thrown into it that quickly. Kind of have the summer up in Edinburgh, which was a fantastic experience. Absolutely love Edinburgh and the
great
vibes
city.
And great city during Fringe, great city all year round with the festival culture that they have there.
Absolutely.
And it was just really, really nice to have that experience so early on while I was training. To kind of have the blended aspect of jobs and what I'm being taught at drama school as well. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Have you, up in Edinburgh and any other jobs you had, or even at college, have you noticed any issues? Have you come across any issues in the industry? Anybody holding people back? The usual sexism, racism. Have you ever come across that? Certainly being new in the industry.
I think there are certain moments in both in training and both kind of in jobs I've had where there has been discrimination.
Yeah.
And that's really, really unfortunate to see. I do think there's been a positive there are positive changes being made. I think there's a lot of work being done by organisations like ABTT and the unions such as Equity and Bectu to stamp that out and to really encourage a culture of speaking up about that when that's happening. I think that's kind of what
I think
it's
also a some of the time it's while discrimination happens, it's not always a lot of certainly old school people don't know that they're being discriminatory as much. Yeah, it's just something that because it's happened for so long that they're just naturally being they're doing that, and it obviously people have to learn, people have to change, but sometimes it's a lot more difficult for the older people too.
100%. I think there is unfortunately some ingrained behaviour. Yeah, that's a very, very challenging thing to change. Both industry-wide and on a personal level, I think. And my generation, for context, I'm 22 years old. For my generation has been brought up in a very inclusive way, in a way that has really embraced people being who they are, celebrating who they are in a variety of different aspects and ways. And when you're in an institution as a drama school, sometimes I think there are moments where you can have people who have acted a certain way in teaching, and that can be they have behaviours sometimes that they're just very used to.
Yes.
And the younger generation are very much like, well, this is actually completely incongruent with what we've learned as a generation who was in education during the pandemic as well, and had that shared experience, throughout so many different things.
Excellent, good. So, what would you say is a common misconception of anybody getting? So, when you started in the industry, because you're relatively new, did you think the industry was something that it turns out it's not?
I think one thing that is always talked about when when you look at any industry, you see what is visible, you see what is there, and for stage management in particular, I think initially my misconception was, there's only really stage managers in big shows, right? On this biggest scale of West End stuff. But you get into it and you realise there are so many nuances. There are so many different scales. Yeah. Like the biggest project I've worked on that I'm really proud about is I currently work at a historic site on like a daily programme involving Geoffrey Chaucer, of all things.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's a massive site that we work around. It's not anything you'd see on the news, but I really, really enjoy it because it's a unique challenge, and I would really want anyone coming into the industry to know that there is so much more than what is just on the surface.
Yes.
There are so many more opportunities than what you see in news articles, what you see in media, because these smaller projects where you're working with people, and that is any industry. Ours in particular is just made up of fantastic people, and that's what makes it go around.
Yeah.
There are smaller projects that may never get the publicity and the press that they deserve, but are fantastic to work on and provide such amazing opportunities to get to know people and to learn as you go and work on different things.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of people, you don't realise that immersive experiences have
100%
have stage management and potentially sound and lighting. And actually, weirdly enough, we were at Legoland a few weeks ago, and they had a show at Legoland, and you think there's stage management there, there's sound there, there's lighting there, there's automation on some of it, and this is just Legoland. Yeah. And I say just Lego, I don't mean just Legoland, but you know what I mean? There's sections of the industry that you don't even know, you don't even consider to be a section of the industry, which actually is all under one big umbrella.
Yeah, completely. And I think, you look at the Stage Management Awards that, were just the other day, and one of the teams that was nominated was for Monopoly Life-Sized. Yeah. This is an attraction that is absolutely not what you would think of normal theatre, but there is a 10, 15 strong stage management team every single day making that experience possible. Yeah. Plus, deps and casuals that come in to fill in the gaps, and it is incredible the workforce that is so crucial yet is so hidden.
Yes,
and it can be tricky to discover those opportunities, but once you do, you realise there are so many different things that you're able to do with within the creative world within theatre and events and all the adjacent fields.
Oh, brilliant, yes. What are the pros and cons of working in the industry, have you found?
I think... So I'm a freelancer. I'm not building based like some stage managers are. I think one of the pros of that is that I have a lot of flexibility with when I want to work and what projects I take. You know, there are different scales of freelancing. Some freelancers are, you know, take a project day or two here, whereas for stage management it's often fixed term contracts, you know, 8 or 10 weeks or longer on a show.
Yeah.
And I do really enjoy that flexibility, and I think that it part of that is that it encourages me to take a bit of time off. You know, with that gap between different contracts, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with that? I can go do some training. I can just catch up with friends, because being in a show is a really busy environment. When a lot of your friends are in the same industry, you all end up working at the same time.
Yes, which is a con in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, absolutely. And I think, you know, having that freelance ability to pick and choose what projects you want to do and have the flexibility with your time around that is something I've really enjoyed. I think also, though, that can be one of the cons. I think being a freelancer is quite scary to some people. I think that, you know, that's knowledge that you may not get another job. And I think one of the things that encourages people to always be on the grind. It encourages people to chase after the next thing relentlessly. Yeah. And for me, you know, that's a feeling I very much had coming out of drama school. You know, I had to go on to do the next thing. One thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to block out time every year. Yeah. Saying, you know, this is when I'm going to take a break, because I think that's really important. In, you know, in a permanent job, you'd have annual leave and you'd be encouraged to take that.
Yeah, you get holiday, absolutely.
Yeah, or you'd have time off in lieu. And I really, and I do think this is changing, but I really hope that people coming into the industry come in with a mindset of, I'm a freelancer, I've got the flexibility to take work when I want, I've got the flexibility to not take work.
That's the thing, it's having the courage to say no sometimes.
Yeah, and there's always a risk when you take holiday of there's this massive project or this thing that you want to do and it comes up and you need to be available. Yeah. And there will be other opportunities. You know, this industry is constantly moving and shifting, and there are so many producers and companies out there making a range of different projects. So there will always be something, and I think it's important to just go, this would be amazing, but I need some me time right now. Yeah. I need to take some time where I can just relax and, you know, not worry about work or a deadline or a show or getting a prop done or something like that.
Excellent. And what advice would you give to anybody new trying to get in?
I think for new entrants, I think my biggest piece of advice is that you have, you know, if you're coming into the industry, if you're coming from drama school, you've got a base set of skills, and that will serve you incredibly well with whatever you want to do. Yeah. It means that you have a great opportunity to be at the entry level for so many different industries, and take that opportunity to explore, take that opportunity to figure out what you want to do. It's the perfect time to do that before you decide you want to specialize in something. Yeah. You know, whether you want to go into theatre, whether you want to go into live events. And live events, there's so much in live events.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got festivals, you've got conferences, you've got music events. You know, we're here at Alexandra Palace. Today it's a trade show, but tomorrow it might be a music concert. Yeah, you know, and that's all within one venue. And I think it's important to take that opportunity to... It's important to take that opportunity to just see what is out there, because there'll be so much more than you'll be able to cover in a course. And if you're just coming from another field, I think it's really important to just talk to people. Ask people, you know, hey, can I shadow you? And, you know, there are schemes that can help you be able to afford that, because obviously shadowing does mean that you're probably not going to earn money, but there are other bursaries and there are other funds that are able to help support that entrance into the industry. Stage Management Association has just started an upskilling bursary the other day. Yeah. You know, so just talk to people, see what they do, be interested, and just see what connections you can find from talking to people, you know, on social networks or in person at an event.
Brilliant. And that's everything I've got for you.
Cool.
Thank you very much for joining me. Hey, big thank you to Nathan there. Thank you so much to talk to Nathan. Interesting how to talk to the younger side of the industry on how they got in. So it's good to hear. Thank you to Nathan for that. And thank you to you for the continued downloads. Thank you for the listens. Thank you for the messages. If you want to get in touch, we are techtablepod@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on the socials, it's Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, Threads, and YouTube. We're all Tech Table Pod, so give us a follow. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody you know who's interested in the technical side of the industry, and anybody who's not, because it might make them interested. A big thank you to Mig and G from the GSA, who are my executive producers, and a big thank you to Jade from Sadler's Wells, Flynn, and of course Nathan, who was on the show today. Thank you to all of the Tech Table Pod team. This wouldn't happen without you guys, so thank you so much. And thank you to you for listening, and until then, let's see you all next week.